Hi guys, welcome back to the channel and happy new year. Today is the 5th of January and yes, I'm starting this vlog in my pyjamas because today is my last day of holiday. I go back to work tomorrow and I know I'm very lucky to have had so much time off. So I'm trying to hold on to the cozy, calm vibes for as long as possible. Tomorrow we have inset, so I have teacher training at a different school to where I usually go, and then Tuesday we are back into the hurly-burly with the kids. Tomorrow is going to be alright. They're usually alright days. I'm looking forward to seeing my kids out on Tuesday. But yeah, it's been a really nice Christmas break. I've been very lucky to have several days where I literally have not moved from the sofa. It was very much needed. And yeah, we're going to get into term 3, so we'll see how that goes. I finished 3 books, although 2 of them are cookery books. So do they really count? I'm not sure. I'm counting them for now, but we'll see. So I wanted to tell you about those and obviously come in and say hello and Happy New Year. At the time of filming this clip, we still do not have internet, and you guys have been so lovely and patient waiting for me. Today, my December vlog was supposed to go up, and I just could not get it to upload in time. It got to 95%, having taken like 2 days, and then it errored out. How I didn't throw my phone across the room, I don't know. So you guys have had my 2024 wrap up instead. But yeah, thank you so much for your patience. I do really appreciate it, and hopefully, touch wood, by the time you see this we will have internet, but we will see. Okay, books. So my first book of the year, I wanted to choose something that I was really excited about and that I felt like I was going to really like. Obviously, I curate my TBR shelves. That's the TBR shelf there. So I should like everything on it, but I wanted to pick something that I was like particularly excited about. And so I picked up and read Till Death Do Us Part by Rose Black. This was kindly gifted to me for my birthday by the lovely Sarah. So thank you so much, Sarah, for this. I really enjoyed this. Before I tell you what it's about, can we just admire this cover? It's absolutely stunning. She's got another book out which is about mermaids, and the cover for that is clearly the same cover artist because it is stunning. But yeah, I mean, the title and the cover, big reasons why I picked this up. And also because it's cozy fantasy, if you couldn't tell. So in this we are following, I literally finished this yesterday. We follow Logan, who's also known as the Bear, and he is kind of a he's like other people call him a hero, but he's very much like, I'm not a hero, but he's kind of out killing monsters and dealing with bad guys and all that sort of stuff. And he's 6 months married to his husband Pie, which is short for Magpie. Pie is a bard, so he goes from place to place singing and telling stories and all that sort of stuff. And one night Pie disappears, is kidnapped, and so Logan goes on a mission to find his husband, and along the way he picks up this kind of ragtag team, this kind of found family, and they go on this mission to rescue Pie. I really enjoyed this. Like I said, I gave it 4 stars. It's very cozy, it's very found family, there are food descriptions, they are on this mission, and I really love when characters are kind of on some sort of mission in a book. It's written really well. There are some editing errors, there are a few spelling mistakes and stuff in here, and I was like, did we not do a final check on this book, guys? Because that's always kind of annoying. And there is a female character, the Countess, who behaves quite inappropriately. She's very touchy-feely with people, and I feel like if it was a male character, it's not something that we would want to see in 2025. So I did drop it down slightly. I think it also ran out of steam slightly in the middle, but I did enjoy it. It was very cozy. It was a good start to my reading year. 4 stars. If you liked things like Legends and Lattes, sort of on that kind of line, I would recommend this one. The You Can't Spell Treason Without Tea, that series is kind of very similar vibes to that, and I will definitely pick up the mermaid one if I see it. So yeah, really enjoyed that. Thank you very much, Sarah, and that was 4 stars. And then I've read 2 cookery books, and I'm going to leave them as no rating for now. I will rate them once I cook some stuff from them. The first one, oh sorry, nearly knocked everything over, is the Gilmore Girls official cookbook. This was sent to me by my lovely friend Michelle for Christmas, because she wants me to make a vlog out of this, which I will do later on in the year. As you can see, I have tabbed the heck out of it. This is really fun, and I feel like I'm not a huge Gilmore Girls fan. I never finished the series because I found Rory really irritating, but I did enjoy the first couple of seasons, and I very much enjoy that kind of small town, found family, all that sort of stuff. All the stuff that I enjoy in books is in Gilmore Girls. And this is really fun, and it's split into, that's the gift note, which I will obviously keep with it. It's split into, is it 5 sections? Oh, hang on, there's quite a long intro. There we go. Yeah, so it's split into the 5 chapters, which is the 5 different colours I've used to tab. So we've got Luke's Diner, The Independence Inn, The Dragonfly Inn, and Suki St. James's Creations. That's chapter 2. Stars Hollow Potluck, Lorelai and Rory's House, and then Beyond Stars Hollow, which is like Friday night dinner with Emily and Richard, etc. So what I've done is I've gone through, I've tabbed up the ones I'm most interested in cooking, and like there's so many, like, yum. There's so much stuff in here that I want to cook and eat. And what I'll do is at some point, possibly Easter or possibly over the summer, I'll do a vlog where I get you guys to vote on Instagram for which of these you want me to cook. And I'll cook a few over a couple of days, maybe whilst I read like a cute romance set in a small town, something like that. But yeah, so you will see this again later on in the year, but I really enjoyed reading this. Thank you so much, Michelle. I'm really looking forward to cooking loads of it. And yeah, keep your eyes peeled because that vlog will come later in the year. And then as part of my Boxing Day Waterstones haul, I picked up Pinch of Nom All-in-One, which is by Kate and Kay Allenson. Oh, I don't know if I said who this one is by. It's the official one, but it's by Elena P. Craig and Kristen Mulrooney. They are the authors of this beautiful book. And yeah, I picked this up in the Waterstones Boxing Day sale, and again, I have tabbed. These are all These are all meals that I want to try and cook, or my husband will try and cook. And this looks so great. This is split into 5 sections again. So we've got soups, stews and casseroles, fakeaways, bakes and roasts, and sweet treats. And I picked this up because it's one pan. It's also a slimming meals. I don't care about the slimming bit. But again, there's so much stuff in here. Let's just pick one at random. Yeah, look, slow cooker peppered beef with pasta. Let's randomly choose another section. Oh yeah, Brazilian style peanut and lime chicken curry. Like, I will start working my way through this, and once I've cooked a few, I will go back in and rate it and let you guys know. And maybe I'll chuck in some b-roll of me cooking some of it. So yeah, so those are the 3 books I have started the year with. Yesterday we had a really lovely visit from my dad, my stepmom, and my grandma. They came over for a belated Christmas and to see the house, because I've not seen that yet, so that was really nice. Today we are going to try out a local pub. It's not in our village, but it's like nearby, and it's been recommended for a good roast. So we're going to go and try that out. I'm going to cook the second of the Christmas hams. We were supposed to have Charlie with us this weekend, but he's got a chest infection. So he stayed with his mum, which is obviously fine. But he was supposed to be here this weekend, and I was going to do the second of the Christmas hams for the boys. But it won't last until he's back with us in 2 weeks. So I'm going to cook that off today, and then Gary and I will have that over the next couple of days. Like I said, tomorrow is inset, and then Tuesday we are back into the madness with the kids, back on the merry-go-round, and we will see what term 3 has in store. It's the 9th of January, and I know I look a mess and this setup's a mess, but I just wanted to come in quickly and chat to you. I haven't finished a book. I am still working on London, which is like 1,300 pages, and By Any Other Name, which is like over 500 pages. So it's going to take me a while. I'm enjoying both though. But Gary and I are doing our usual thing in January, and we are running away for the weekend tomorrow. We always go halves on a weekend away in January for Christmas, like with each other, obviously. It'd be weird if we went separately. And that's happening tomorrow. So I just wanted to break up the footage, basically. We've even got this in the background. This is glamorous. This is my reusable like face wipes. Yeah, I just wanted to break up the b-roll mostly. Also, I've had 2 books come in. One was a lovely gift from a friend, and one was a pre-order that I want to take with me this weekend. So I wanted to talk to you about them first, so I can add them to my TBR so I can read them, because that is the way my brain works now. So yeah, we're now back to school, if you couldn't tell from the slightly wild look in my eyes. Whenever I do clips after I've been at school, I get questions about what I'm wearing. This is a dress from Brighton Sugar Hill. I love it. It's a bit like wearing a nightie to work. It's very, very comfortable. Would highly recommend. Brighton Sugar Hill, not the cheapest brand in the world, but they are very... What is happening here? They are very eco-aware. For every order they get, they plant a tree. They do very small runs. It's all done here in the UK. And everything is as sustainable and plastic free as possible, which I really love. Plus, I just really love the prints. Like, look how bold and lovely this print is, and it's so comfy. It's so comfortable. So that's that one. Yeah, going back to work is like a smack in the face. I always find the transition into term 3, which is what we're in now, the hardest, because you go from like soft, cozy Christmas into like school and we don't have Christmas at the end of it. Thankfully it's only a 6-week term, but the weather's been horrendous this week. We've had tiny bits of snow, like sleet, but mostly it's just been loads of ice, which has just made getting to and from work really flipping stressful. And also put the kids on edge because they're constantly waiting for it to snow so that we can all go home, and that's not happened. So yeah, it's been a bit of a week. My brain's been a pain this week, but I've got a lovely weekend to look forward to, which you guys will obviously see. And yeah, I wanted to talk about 2 books. So first of all, I received Jane Austen's Table by Robert Chesley Anderson, who's the guy that wrote the Hobbit cookbook. And this was sent to me by my lovely friend Laura. She actually sent this in November when we moved, and the gift note it says like happy you moving or something. Yeah, happy new home. And I only picked it up this week. So unfortunately, even though I changed my address on Amazon, that hadn't changed the wish list address at the time, I think, and so this went to our old address, as did another parcel, which was very glamorous. That was flea drops of the cats. So I swung around there this week because I was nearby, because I had a teacher training meeting on Monday as part of the inset that was like near the old house. So I swung past, and our lovely neighbours, our previous neighbours who lived across the road, had very kindly got the 2 parcels. So I grabbed that, and yeah, Laura sent me this, and I'm so excited for this. And this is, as you would expect, recipes inspired by the works of Jane Austen. So much like I'm going to do with the Gilmore Girls one, I will sit and read this. I'm probably going to keep this for February because I've read quite a lot of cookbooks this month. So I'll probably keep this for February, and then at some point this year you'll see a vlog, never filled white soup. You'll see a vlog where I cook some of these, maybe when I take myself off on an adventure somewhere. But yeah, there's loads of stuff in here that, oh, look at this. Yum. Yeah, so thank you so much, Laura. This was really kind of you. I'm sorry it took me ages to actually physically get it into my hands, but thank you so much for sending this to me. And then my first pre-order of the month, I've got another one coming, I think, next week, and that is Beg, Borrow or Steal by Sarah Adams. This is part of the Practice Makes Perfect series. This is book 3 in that series, and I don't even know what this is about. I just really enjoyed the second book at the end of last year. What was that one called? Which was When in Rome. So yeah, I'd accidentally read Practice Makes Perfect first, which is the one that's set in the flower shop, and that's book 2, and so I went back and read When in Rome, which was really cute, and now I'm going to pick up the third one, which is Beg, Borrow or Steal. This is cute small town romance, no smut, there's a bit of kissing usually, but it's all closed door otherwise, and yeah, I think this is enemies to lovers. Yeah, it says with their red hot aminosity, I feel like I'm saying that wrong, at an all-time high, Emily makes a mistake that could reveal her secret literary identity. Frustratingly, she needs Jack's help to make it right. Will their unlikely alliance put an end to their rivalry, or could it lead to a steamy plot twist they never saw coming? So yeah, I'm really excited for this. And what I've decided, I think I've got about 12 pre-orders so far this year. I've decided that when a pre-order comes in, it goes straight onto the TBR, my monthly TBR, and if I don't get to it in that month, it rolls as a priority into the next month. So I will be reading this either this month or in February, but I think I'm going to take this with me for this weekend. So yeah, that's basically the update. It's poorly lit, I'm tired, and I've probably been talking too fast, apologies. But yeah, it's been a rough re-entry back to the real world, which I always knew it was going to be. However, we're going to go away for the weekend. I'll show you where we're going. It's so cute. And we're just going to spend 2 days just reading, sleeping, relaxing, being together. And yeah, I will do some B-roll and then I'll chat to you in a minute. It's the 15th of January, and as you saw, we had such a lovely weekend. The Airbnb was gorgeous. I will have linked it in the description. Highly recommend it. It was just over the border for us in Devon, Axminster, I think. And it was just gorgeous. It was so private, so quiet. We literally couldn't see any other like human habitation. There were only sheep. And yeah, it was lovely. And we went for a little mooch around a couple of reclamation yards, and we went for lunch. And if you watched any of my content last year, you know that's our favourite way of spending time. And yeah, I love that we do this in January. It's become my favourite like tradition, because January's hard, and like adjusting back to normal life after Christmas is really tough. January is dark, the weather's been rubbish, it's cold all the time. So having a weekend away with my lovely husband it's just a really nice treat in the new year. So yeah, we had a really, really lovely weekend. I did have a migraine the Friday before the weekend, so the day after I spoke to you, so that was a joy. That was my brain just being like, nope, no more, stop. So yeah, I had to deal with that, but I was feeling much better by like Saturday afternoon. Thankfully able to enjoy the weekend. And yeah, today's my day off. I've just taken Molly and Jack for their jabs and their kind of like yearly cat MOT. That's all done, they're both fine. The vet was very much in love with both of them, and obviously she'll meet Sav in the summer when I take her for hers, because she's an August baby. So that's done today. I've got another doctor's appointment because I'm still having problems with my neck. I don't want to keep whinging on about it, but it's really quite painful. So going back to the doctor again, because I've now run out of the medication that I was given over Christmas. So I need to try and get that sorted, and hopefully, fingers crossed, we are getting broadband today. We moved into the house on what, like the 20th of November, something like that. It's now the 15th of January, and hopefully Openreach are going to install it today. It's not Sky. Sky is our provider. They've been brilliant. It's because we bought the house from a very elderly lady who had never had any kind of internet situation before, and then it turned out that the wires and cables and stuff in the road were damaged. So that's all had to be redone, and then hopefully today they're going to come and hook us up, fingers crossed. So that would be good, because hotspotting off a cheap pay-as-you-go mobile is not the one. So I'm hoping that's going to happen today. And then yeah, just into the rest of the week really. We've got no plans this weekend, which is good, because then the couple of weekends after that are quite busy. And yeah, that's the update really. I'm also going today, one of the things I need to do is get the Valentine's bookmarks up on the Etsy store. So by the time you see this, they'll be up and live. So if you fancy any of those, the Etsy will be linked below as well, little plug there. So those have just arrived, so I need to unwrap those, photograph them and get them on the Etsy, and hopefully sell a few. I've also got a couple of orders to pack up, so thank you very much for those, if one of those was yours. And yeah, so let's talk books. I finished 2 books in the last couple of days since I spoke to you. So the first book that I finished was By Any Other Name by J.D. Picot. This was very kindly gifted to me by the lovely Laura for Christmas. Thank you so much, Laura, for this. Look at this cover. I love it when a cover wraps round as well, but it's just so beautiful. And look at these end pages as well. So we are following 2 timelines, and first of all, is this J.D. Picot's first historical fiction? I didn't know she wrote historical fiction, and she writes it gorgeously, because we are following two timelines. We're following Amelia Bassano, who is in the 1500s to 1600s, and Elizabethan era into the start of the Jacobean. And she is she's from a wealthy, no, she's not really from a wealthy family. Her family are court musicians, so she's not like working class, but she's not upper class either. She's in this weird in between space. And when she's 13, she basically becomes the courtesan. Her family sell her basically to be a courtesan to, I can't remember what he's called. Is it Lord Carey? It's Henry Carey, the Lord Chamberlain, who oversees the theatre, and he's the one who decides which plays get put on and which ones don't, and all that sort of stuff. So she sold it to him as a courtesan at the age of 13, and then through his work she basically discovers the world of poetry and writing and all that kind of stuff, and she starts to write her own stuff, and she realizes that she cannot get published as a woman, and she becomes friends with Kit, which is Christopher Marlowe, again through her husband, and then he introduces her to a man named William Shakespeare, who is an actor from Stratford, who is basically putting his name to other people's work. So writers who, for lots of reasons, can't be published under their own name are giving him plays, and he is publishing them as William Shakespeare. So it follows that storyline. And then in the modern day, I can't remember what her name is, Melina. So we're in Manhattan in like 2013, I think. And Melina is a struggling playwright, and she, through her dad, finds out that she's related to Amelia Bassano, and she starts writing a play called By Any Other Name, telling the story of Amelia's life and putting forward the theory that she wrote at least some of Shakespeare's plays. So if you haven't been here before, hi, I'm Victoria. I'm a massive Shakespeare nerd, and I am someone who doesn't believe that the man that is presented as William Shakespeare wrote all the plays. I have read and studied the plays and the sonnets extensively, and to me there's always at least 4 different distinct voices within the writing. So I do think he wrote some of them, but I don't think he wrote them all. And also there are certain details and just kind of aspects of his life that don't add up. And one of the things I really liked is at the end, Jodie Bacot wrote a really good author's note where she was basically laying out what she thinks and why she thinks it with her evidence, which I'd really highly recommend you read. Obviously I'd recommend the book anyway, but I really bought into this theory. Whether it was Amelia Bassano or it was somebody else or a collection of other people, I don't know, but like I said, I am someone who doesn't buy that the man from Stratford wrote all those plays. So I really enjoyed that part of it. I gave this 4 stars in the end. I didn't give it the 5-star. I loved the historical parts of this novel. I think Jodie Bacot did a gorgeous job bringing Amelia, it is Amelia, isn't it? I just feel like I'm saying it wrong. No, Amelia, to life. You follow her whole life from when she's a tiny child all the way up to her death. And her life was full of heartbreak and hardship. There's also big content warnings for domestic violence and abuse, for sexual assault and rape, and general misogyny. And I didn't love the modern, what is her name again? Melina. This is the signal. I didn't love it because I can't remember her name. I didn't love Melina's storyline. So she's in modern day New York City. She's struggling as a playwright. She realizes that she's related to Amelia, and she writes by any other name, exploring Amelia's life, like I said. And then she gets her male flatmate to basically publish the play under his name. So you've got these 2 storylines kind of going side by side. Personally, I don't think the structure worked because it was quite repetitive, and there were definitely bits where it lacked. Like, this is a big book. It's over 500 pages. I've got a cat somewhere in the room, but I can't see where. Welcome to my life. And I feel like it didn't need to be this long. I would have structured it so that I literally can hear a cat, but I can't see it. I would have structured it so that we had Melina's modern day section at the beginning, then Amelia's section in the middle, and then Melina again at the end. I think that might have worked better. I found Melina, the modern version, quite annoying, and there's a lot of like miscommunication going on. I did enjoy the romance that happens in both timelines. Jodie Bacot writes romance really well, but yeah, I gave it a 4-star rather than the 5. I just, like I said, some of it dragged a little bit. I don't think it needed to be this big. However, it is gorgeously written, and if you are interested in some of the Shakespeare, are they conspiracy theories, I guess, or theories, authorship theories, I would recommend this, even if you just read the author's note at the end, because I thought she did that really well. So yeah, thank you very much for sending this my way, Laura. I really enjoyed it. It was a really great start to the reading year, and yeah, 4 stars. And then yesterday on my commute home, I finished A Pocket Full of Rye by Agatha Christie. I read this on audio. I've been reading all of the Miss Marples on audio and really, really enjoyed it. And this one was read by Richard E. Grant, who, quite frankly, I would listen if he read the phone book because his voice is just gorgeous. And this is number like something. I will need to stick the gift note in. I think it's like 7 or 8 of the Miss Marple series. I've only got a couple of these left, and this was kindly sent to me for Christmas as well by the lovely Mary, so thank you very much, Mary, for this. And I will be very happy to put this on my shelf with the others. And yeah, I think this is the first yellow one we've got. In this one we have a man, what's his name, Rex Fortescue, who is a very wealthy man, business owner, and he basically collapses and dies after drinking a cup of tea at work. And then we kind of unravel what's going on around him and all the family dynamics, all that sort of stuff. Miss Marple pops up about halfway through and helps to solve the crime, as usual. And there were lots of twists and turns in this. I thought I had it worked out. I was convinced I knew the answer, and I didn't, so that was really fun. And yeah, I gave this 4 stars. Would highly recommend the Miss Marple series, and particularly recommend the audiobook because it was a lot of fun. So thank you so much, Mary. Like I said, thank you for that one. I do love this cover as well. And yeah, I don't really have much to say about the Miss Marple books. I just really enjoy them. They're a fun time with some interesting twists and turns. So that's the update. I am going to go and get the Etsy store sorted out and the new stuff photographed. Hopefully we're going to get connected to the internet. I've got a doctor's appointment, and then tomorrow just back to work, and I'm hoping for a very quiet and lazy weekend. So I'll probably chat to you over the weekend because I'm hoping to finish. I've got one book nearly finished, and then I'm still working on London, nearly at the halfway point though, so that's something. I am enjoying it. It's just, does it have to be that big? No, it doesn't. But yeah, I'm still working on that. But yeah, I will come and update you at the weekend once something bookish happens. It's the 19th of January and I'm very, very full of a delicious roast beef that I did not cook. And I think I might have put in some fairly poorly lit B-roll in the previous clip. But yeah, we've been out to a pub that is not far from our house today with Charlie for a roast. Gary and I went there at the start of the month, and then we wanted to take Charlie back so he could try it out. He very much enjoyed it. I also had a brilliantly retro fruit trifle for pudding, and it was just like exactly the kind of thing your nan makes, although thankfully it was minus the sherry. And yeah, it was just really nice. Just a nice time hanging out, the three of us. I can't remember when I last spoke to you. I think it might have been Wednesday. It was a busy end of the week. Yesterday I did nothing. I lay on the sofa all day and read, did a bit of laundry, which I might have angled the camera so that you can't see. And that was pretty much it. And then today we got up and I was like, right, I need to crack on with my to-do list. So like, I've cleaned the bathroom, I've done a food shop, I've planned meals for the week, I've got ready for work, all of that stuff is done. I'm halfway through packing Etsy stuff, which I'll talk about in a minute. Let's sit a bit more centrally. And then before I get back in my pajamas and fully turn back into some sort of slug person, I thought I would come and chat with you because I have got 2 books I finished, 2 books that have come in. I want to show you the bookmarks, and then I want to talk about Chloe's readathon for February as well. So let's do this in some sort of rough order. Let's talk about books I finished first of all, because they've both been 5 stars, thankfully, because it's been a very like mid-month so far for reading. Okay, so the first one that I finished that I gave 5 stars to was a surprise 5-star, and that was Beg, Borrow or Steal by Sarah Adams. I obviously pre-ordered this. You saw me open this in a previous clip, and I pre-ordered it because I enjoyed the previous 2. So it starts with When in Rome, and then is it The Flower Shop? No, Practice Makes Perfect is the second book. I read them slightly out of order because Chloe was kind enough to gift me Practice Makes Perfect for my birthday or Christmas, some point last year. She gifted it to me. It's the second in the series. So I then went back at the end of last year and read When in Rome, which is the first one. Really enjoyed that one. Practice Makes Perfect was okay. I didn't love it, but I was kind of intrigued enough by the small town thing, and it's like a group of siblings that we're following. Each book is a different sibling's romance story, and I was intrigued enough to go back and read When in Rome, and then I saw this one was coming out, so I pre-ordered it, and I loved this. I gave this 5 stars, so that was a surprise. In this book we're following a pair of teachers. We're following Emily and Jack. They hate each other. Emily is from the same sibling group as the previous 2 books, and she is very bossy. She's the oldest daughter. She is used to organising everyone. She is used to being the kind of mother hen. The sibling group are orphans, so their parents died when they were children and they were raised by their grandmother. And so Emily has kind of taken on that mum role her whole life for everybody. And she teaches 2nd grade. I'll be honest, I don't know how old that is. Fairly small kids. I never understand the American system. I'm assuming they're like little. And Jack is also a 2nd grade teacher, and they hate each other. And this is an enemies to lovers situation. Jack has got a secret side hustle as a thriller writer. His dad is a very, very famous author, and Jack writes under a pseudonym so that people don't think he's just kind of riding on his dad's coattails. And unbeknownst to both of them, Emily has, well, unbeknownst to him, Emily has started writing a romance book in her spare time as a hobby. And when she accidentally sends her manuscript to the wrong person, she needs Jack's help to sort that out, and it kind of goes from there. And yeah, I loved this. I thought this was brilliant. The romance was great. It's got some very heavy themes. It does have, which I really liked, a content warning at the beginning from the author. So it says, "Dear reader, I'm so excited for you to meet Emily and Jackson, or Jack. If you are the kind of reader who prefers to know the heavier topics and potential triggers before you begin reading, please be advised that there are themes of grief and mildly accompanying depression, as well as the portrayal of a narcissistic parent. However, I have written these topics with great care and in such a way that it is meant to bring comfort rather than pain. Likewise, if you prefer to read closed-door romances and would like to modify this story so that you are not involved in the details of the intimacy scenes, chapters, and none of the chapter numbers are listed, should be skipped. Happy reading." And I really loved that. And I just really connected with this. It is rare that I want to go in and annotate a romance story. In fact, I can't think of any that I've wanted to tab and annotate, but I really wanted to tab and annotate several parts of this, particularly when they're talking about teaching and why people teach, and why you take on a job that is that demanding and needs that much of yourself. I really connected with that. I'm also the eldest daughter, so I connected quite heavily with Emily and her feeling of responsibility for her siblings. And I've also, in case you don't know, I've also dabbled in writing, not for a long time, but I do have a master's degree in creative writing, and I know what the query process is like. Obviously, I didn't get anywhere with that, but I know what that feeling is like. And when they were talking about writing as well, I was like, yeah, I really just connect with that. So I gave it 5 stars. Is it a perfect book? Probably not. Did I give it 5 stars because I loved it and it made me feel emotional? Yes, I did. So that was a surprise 5 star, which is my favourite kind, as you guys know. And then the other 5 star was my first reread of the year, and that is The Pull of the Stars by Emma Donoghue. I must have read this like 4 or 5 times by now. It's always a 5 star for me. I reread it in one go yesterday. Sat on the sofa with a blanket and a cat, and it was just a lovely time. We are in Dublin in 1918, so during World War I, and we are in the middle of the flu pandemic. So if you're not in the market for a pandemic story, don't read this. Heavy pandemic themes. And we are following, is it Julia? Yes, Julia, who is a nurse, and she is working on a maternity ward for women who are near the end of their pregnancy and are getting ready to give birth and also have the flu. This is brutal. This contains very brutal birth scenes. It contains conversations and on page about stillbirths and miscarriages and all of that kind of stuff. So if you're not in the market for that, don't pick this one up. There's also lots of discussion around the war. Brother Tim is mute. He's come back from the front and he no longer speaks. So there's discussions around that and around mental illness and shell shock and all of that kind of stuff. Obviously, we now call shell shock PTSD. But there is also this glorious love story that grows, and yeah, it just kind of creeps up on you. It happens to me every time. I read the first 100 pages, I was like, I'm really enjoying this, but it hasn't got that oomph that I remember. And then I read the next bit and I was like, oh, here it is. It's that it just kind of creeps up on you very quietly and very slowly. And I've got another Emma Donoghue to read next month because I've been sent an ARC for her new release. So I kind of wanted to read my favourite of her books this month and then go into that one. So yeah, that was my first reread of the month. And then books that have come in. I've got another pre-order, so this will go straight into my TBR, as is the rules this year. This is Mary Queen of Sorrows by Alison Weir. This came out last year in hardback, but I had to wait for the paperback because I have this whole series in a beautiful paperback. So I was waiting for that. And this is obviously the story of Mary, Mary I, who was the daughter of Anne Boleyn and Henry VIII. And I'm assuming this will tell her life story. I haven't really looked into it, to be honest. It just says Mary I, the Bloody Queen, her story. I love this series. I love Alison Weir. This was the next one, so I bought it. So yeah, this will go into my TBR. I don't think I'm going to get to this realistically this month, but we will see. And if not, I'll be reading it in February. And then I was sent a big treat by Book Break. So I requested this ARC when the book came out, which I think was at the end of last year. And I didn't get one, and it's like, that's fine. I don't obviously get every single ARC that I request because my channel is on the smaller side, but I do get quite a lot from Book Break and I'm very grateful. So yeah, I requested an ARC, didn't get one, and then this dropped through. This is a finished copy of Witchcraft for Wayward Girls by Grady Hendrix. Did not expect this at all. It's got really nice red end pages. I think it's just, yeah, just a naked hardback with the white, back on the white. I have had a really good relationship with Grady Hendrix's writing. I've really enjoyed lots of his books. And I was really excited for this one in particular because I think it's going to be, yeah, I think there's going to be an interesting mix of themes. So I'll read you some of the synopsis because obviously I haven't read it yet. So it says, they call them wayward girls, loose girls, girls who grow up too fast, and they're sent to Wellwood House in St. Augustine, Florida, where unwed mothers are hidden by their families to give birth in secret, put their babies up for adoption, and most important of all, forget any of it ever happened. 15-year-old Fern arrives at the home in the sweltering summer of 1970, pregnant, terrified, and alone. There she meets a dozen other girls in the same predicament. Rose, a hippie who insists she's going to keep her baby and escape to a commune. Zinnia, a budding musician who plans to marry her baby's father. And Holly, barely 14, mute, and pregnant by no one knows who. Every moment of their waking day is strictly controlled by adults who claim to know what's best for them, until Fern meets a librarian who gives her an occult book about witchcraft. And suddenly the power is in the hands of the girls for the first time in their lives. But power can destroy as easily as it creates. It is never given freely. There's always a price to be paid, and it's usually paid in blood. And it just sounds so good. So huge thanks to Book Break for sending this to me. I very, very much appreciate it. And actually, that leads me into nicely talking about Forensic February, which is the readathon that Chloe has created. So this is my version of her board. I will leave her announcement video below. I have also posted it on my community tab, and by the time you see this I'll have posted about it on Instagram as well. I haven't taken active part in a readathon. This is very shiny because of the tape I put on it. Active part in a readathon since 2023. I don't think I did one at all last year, mostly because I'm so busy with life stuff. I don't want to tie my reading down too much. But when she told me about how I did this, which she told me about at the end of last year, I was just like, that's just such a fun idea. I just thought I'm going to have to take part. So I have printed, as you can see, her board. You start off the board and then you start up here. And the whole point is that you are solving a crime as you read. I would have loved to have read one book for every single space, but February is the shortest month of the year and I'm working a lot of it, so I don't think that's going to happen. But I have bought myself some dice because for some reason we didn't have a single dice in this house. Also, did I think I'd bought one dice? Yes, I did. Did 40 arrive? Yes, they did. So I'll grab a couple out of here and then take the rest to work. So yeah, I will be rolling through the month to decide on my reads, and I've chosen this little people to avoid pin, which I think came in a press pack last year or possibly was gifted by someone, and it just made me laugh, and I was like, that sounds like the right thing to use as a little counter. So you'll see that in February. But yeah, this is my very, very homemade board. This is literally stuck to the back of a package which has actually got my address on it, but I just thought it'd be really fun, and I feel like if I can work this into this, I feel like it worked really well. You can read any genres you like. I've already checked with Chloe because I definitely don't have enough books to read all dark stuff in February, but you can read whatever you like. And yeah, I just thought I would show you my little blue peated board. And then the last thing to show you before I go and pack loads of these up is the bookmarks. So I've done some, I think I've called it the romance collection, but they are kind of, I mean, I feel like you could use them any time of the year. I kind of put them up for like Valentine's Day or Galentine's Day, but I feel like they'd work for a lot of things. As always, they are double-sided. So that one says, every chapter is a new adventure. I've just designed these on Canva. They're double-sided. They're on really good quality card. I use these all the time and I just love those cute hearts. And they wear really well. And 100% of the proceeds, I love that purple one, go into the charity pot. And obviously this year we are supporting Read Easy and Street Paws. If I bring that one a bit closer, you can see that one's got like, it's like a graffiti kind of print on it, and I just thought that was fun. So yeah, I've got a load of Etsy orders to go and pack up. Thank you so much if you are someone that's ordered. I really appreciate it. I'm now going to go and pack a load of those up. I need to update my reading journal. Oh, I've got hiccups. Update the reading journal. Deal with the never-ending laundry, and then I haven't actually read anything today, so I need to curl up and read. I am 68% through London. I really want to try and get it finished this month. I'm enjoying it, some chapters more than others, obviously. But if I read 2 chapters today and 2 chapters next Saturday, then I will have finished it, so that'll be good. And yeah, I need to go and crack on with that. So that's the update. That's pretty much it. I will chat to you in a bit once something bookish happens. And those are almost all the books that I read in the month of January. It's now actually a couple of days before the end of the month. I think it's the 29th of January today, and I'm coming in to wrap up the wrap up. I've got a stack of books to talk to you about. But basically, I'm having to finish the vlog early because on Friday we are going to London because Charlie's got a jiu-jitsu competition tournament, not quite sure, over the weekend. And the 2nd of February, which is when I want this vlog to go out, which is the first Sunday of the month, I won't have time to edit and upload with our rubbishy internet, which, by the way, I don't think I said. The guy came from wherever to connect us and couldn't. And it could be up to 6 months because there's something wrong with the post outside. I don't know the words. But yeah, we still don't have internet, so having to hotspot off a rubbish cheap SIM card that we've got. And so because of that, I was like, I'm going to have to finish the vlog on Wednesday, also because I needed time to sit and chat with you. So yeah, I'm having to finish a bit early because we're going to be in London Friday night and Saturday. And then I don't want to run the risk of us getting back Saturday night and I can't get this uploaded in time. So I'm finishing this off now. Also, I'm in a reading slump. I'm feeling really slumpy. I think I'm just very tired. It's January, it's dark, blah, blah, blah. And I've read a couple of big books this month. And whilst I've enjoyed them, I'll show you the biggest book I think I've ever read in a minute. Whilst I've enjoyed it, I'm feeling a bit slumpy. So I feel like I'm not going to finish anything else between now and Friday anyway. I have just started a reread of The 13th Tale by Diane Setterfield, one of my favourite books of all time, in the hope that it will shove me out of this slump. But I don't think I'm going to finish even that before Friday. So I just thought I would just come in. It's my day off. I've got some time to sit and chat with you, and I've got a few books to talk to you about, and then we'll do stats, and that'll be it for January. So the next book that I finished was Freshwater by Kweki Emezi. This was gifted to me by the lovely Milena. I think it was for Christmas or my birthday. It says happy birthday on the gift note. I love Kweki Emezi's work. This was their debut. I think I've only got their most recent one, which I think is called Rot or something like that, which I need to get my hands on soon. This was their debut, and it's a really difficult book to review because you're following a spirit that is living inside a girl, and we're following the girl's life as she grows up and becomes a woman and all that sort of stuff. And it's this really intense, dark story. I read it on audio. I read it on audio. And it's read by the author, which I'd really recommend. But yeah, I'm not sure that it's going to have that much of an impact on me long term. I've loved Kweki Emezi's later works. Like I said, this is their debut. Debuts can sometimes be hit and miss, especially for me. I can't actually remember what I gave it, so let me consult my green book. I think I gave it 4 stars. Yes, I gave it 4 stars. Like I said, I would really recommend the audiobook. I think that probably made it a bit easier for me to follow, and I was reading it on my commute. And it was just very kind of intense literary fiction. So yeah, thank you, Milena, for sending this to me and giving me the chance to read it. I really did enjoy it. And yeah, I'm very happy to have now read Akwaeke Emeze's debut. Then I've been reading this in the background all month. I think I referred to it a couple of times. I read London by Edward Rutherford. Can we just have a moment to look at that beast? I feel like it doesn't even look that big. This is 1,300 pages, okay, or 1,299 if you want to be precise. It's a brick. If you saw my August vlog, you'll see my brother sent me this along with a couple of other books for my birthday. And when I opened it, I was a bit like, why do you hate me? Because of the size of this. However, he sent it to me because he read it and loved it. And he said that it reminded him of C.J. Sampson's writing style, who wrote oh my gosh, what's the character called? It's historical fiction. He's a lawyer, Matthew Shardlake. He wrote that series and I love that series. And whilst this is nothing like the Matthew Shardlake stories, I can see what Ben was talking about in terms of the writing style, because it definitely is. So this is literally a story about London from just before the Romans arrive up to, I think it's about 2013. It finishes, so pretty much modern day. And it's almost short stories, connected short stories, because you're following like a group of families from pre-Roman times all the way up to modern day. And I really enjoyed seeing how they were connected, seeing little cameos from characters who were popping up here and there, and you're like, oh, I remember that person because of this connects up. I learned loads about London and about like language and all of that sort of stuff, and I'm a massive language nerd, so I really enjoyed that. Obviously I enjoyed some chapters more than others. Some of them I think were too long. I think the book is too long overall. I think it was a bit overwritten, and I think it could have done with a little bit more editing. However, I love what he's done and what he's achieved with this book. I wouldn't recommend it to everybody, but there are certain people I think would enjoy it. I think Abby from Abbey of Penlaw would like this one. I think Olivia Savannah from Olivia's Catastrophe would like this one. So if you have like similar reading taste to them, you might like this. I've given this 4 stars. I did enjoy it. It took me all month to read, and it was like physically difficult to read because it's so heavy, even in the paperback form. And like the pages, you know, it's not like Bible paper, and the font isn't that small. So it's one of those things where like when I sat and read it, I think I read it like over 7 days basically, because I was reading it on weekends over the month. When I sat and read it, I enjoyed it. It was just the kind of mental hurdle of having to pick up something as big. I also think this is a really ugly cover, and I don't think it does the story justice. Like, this to me reads like thriller written by a man that you might buy in an airport. And like, there is a place for those books for sure, but it's not the kind of thing I gravitate towards. I would not pick this up in a bookshop because of the cover. And like I said, I don't think it does the book justice at all. So don't be put off by the cover, don't be put off by the size. I would recommend it, but it is going to be a project. So yeah, I gave that 4 stars. Then I read, the last book that I read of the month was Warrior Cats Into the Wild by Erin Hunter. I was basically pushed into this by the kids that I work with. They are obsessed with this series. This is a 15-book series, middle grade fantasy adventure series, in which we follow, in this one we follow Rusty, who is a kitty pet, as the warrior cats call him, and he basically stumbles on these clans of cats who live wild, and don't have anything to do with what they call the two legs, the people. And this is kind of just following him becoming part of the clan, the Shadow Clan, I think, no, the Thunder Clan, and battling against some of the other clans. I enjoyed this. I gave it 3.5 stars. Am I excited to read any more of this series? No. Will I probably read more of the series? Yes, because the kids will probably badger me into it. It's nice to be able to chat with them about this book, because they are really excited about this series and were really happy that I was reading it. But I think my actual reading experience of this was, it was okay. It's obviously the first book in a series. I will give the others a try, probably whether I like it or not. But yeah, it was a 3.5 star read, and that was that one. And then I've had 2 DNFs. I said I was feeling slumpy, and I was reading these books and I was like, these aren't helping, so I'm going to put them down. The first one is Homegoing by Yagayasi. My boss lent me this. I'm going to have to give it back to her. This follows 2 sisters in, I can't remember what time span we're in, but they are on the Gold Coast of Africa, a pair of sisters. One is sold as a slave and one is married off to a slave owner, and it follows their different families through the generations. And I really liked the opening chapters when we were with the sisters, but then when it jumped forward, I suddenly didn't feel connected to the story, and that's where I started to struggle. I feel like this is probably a soft DNF. I mean, I'm going to give this copy back to my boss, but I think if I do see it again, or if I see it on audiobook, I'll probably pick it back up. I just wasn't in the mood for it right now. And then unfortunately, one of the other books my brother sent me, I'm sorry Ben if you're watching this, if you want to look away, that's fine. I've DNF'd one of the other books that he bought me, which was She Who Became the Sun by Shelley Parker Chan. I had a arc of this when this originally came out, and I got to about 60 pages in and I DNF'd it because I just couldn't get into the story. This time I got about 120 pages in and I still didn't want to pick it up, so decided to DNF this one. I'm sorry Ben, I did try it again, it's just not a writing style that works for me, so yeah, I have decided to DNF that one. And then I had a book come in from a publisher. This was sent unsolicited, and I'm a bit confused as to why they sent it to me because they sent me the hardback last year. However, they sent me a lovely paperback copy of Warrior Queens and Quiet Revolutionaries by Kate Moss, How Women Also Built the World. I remember enjoying this when I read it previously, and I've got a friend of mine who I know will really like this, so I will pass this on to her. But yeah, this did come in, but I'm not counting it on my TBR because I didn't ask for it and I've already read it. But yes, the paperback is out on the 30th of January, so just after you're seeing this, if you're watching it early on, I would recommend it, but I'm not going to be rereading it, so that one's come in. Okay, let's do stats and then you can go on your merry way. So I've got my green book out. So number of books read in January was 10. I was quite surprised when I looked at these stats. I think my reading has felt quite sluggish this month is what I would say. I'm not quite sure why that is. I did have some big books in there. Obviously I read This Beast, and I read By Any Other Name, which is over 500 pages. But yeah, I've just felt like my reading's a bit sluggish, but I don't know if that's just a reflection of how I'm feeling generally at the moment. January's a tough month, it's long, it's dark, everybody's broke, all of that stuff. So yeah, I was surprised that I'd managed to read 10 books, so that's a good start to the year. I read 4,051 pages, which averages out 131 per day, so that's about 20 less than I need to excuse me, to hit my 50,000 page target. So that's just something to be aware of in February. I feel like February is going to be a good reading month, but I'll talk to you about that in a minute. Average star rating was 4.18, so I read quite a lot of books, I read quite a lot of pages, and I rated everything quite highly, so it was a good reading month. My favourite book of the month, I'm starting off my favourite stack of 2025 with a romance book, Beg, Borrow, Steal by Sarah Adams. I can't stop thinking about this book. I want to go back and annotate it. I want it in hardback. I don't think hardbacks exist for this book. I just really loved it. So that is my first favourite read of the year. Would highly recommend it. Really, really enjoyed it. And I think most disappointing had to go to Warrior Cats Into the Wild, just because the kids like hyped this up and then I just had an okay time with it. It's not a bad book. It was my lowest rated of the month though at 3.5. Like I said, I will probably get bullied into reading more of this series. So we'll see how I feel about the rest of those. But yeah, this is probably my most disappointing, just because I was really hoping that I could like really love it. My TBR stands at 52 books. I think it was at 57 when we started. Where's my start of the year stats? I feel like it was. Yeah, we started at 57, we're now at 52, so we've dropped a few, dropped it by 5. The oldest book on my TBR is The New Life, which I got from my brother. That was the 3rd book in the parcel that he sent me for my birthday. That's on my February TBR, so I should be reading that in February, depending on how the rolls go, because I think I showed you that I'm taking part in Forensic February, which Chloe is running. I'm very excited about it. Balancing the books, so I had 8 books come off my TBR, because obviously rereads and audiobooks that I don't physically own don't count. So what was the other one that didn't count on this one? I've confused myself with my own numbers now. Oh yeah, no, Warrior Cats didn't count because I didn't actually put this onto my TBR, so it then can't come off. So I had 8 books come off the TBR. I had 5 books come in, which means that I'm currently have 3 more out than in, so I've read 3 more books than I've hauled, so that's good. My shelves, I thought this was a new stat that I would try and track this year. I decided I'm going to have 5 books of the 8 that I read. 5 will go onto my shelves, obviously, as well as my Pull of the Stars reread. And 3 are going to be going, so you'll see those in a future unhaul. And then I've had 2 DNFs this month. I've also started tracking genres, so that I can break that down at the end of the year. But this month I read 1 fantasy, 2 non-fiction, 2 historical, 1 classic, 1 romance, 2 literary fiction, and 1 middle grade. And yeah, and I had the 2 DNFs, so that was the month. Yeah, I don't know how this vlog's going to come out. I do edit as I go, but I usually watch it as well as I go through, and I haven't done that this time around, so I'm not quite sure how this vlog's going to come out. January, like I said, is always a tough month. There's been some really lovely bits though. Our weekend away was obviously wonderful. We've had some really nice times with family and friends, excuse me. I went out for dinner with my mother-in-law last night, which is really good. Work's been challenging but manageable, and the house stuff is starting to happen. We're actually going today to look at bathroom suites and choose a bathroom suite and get final quotes, and then probably have a complete heart attack at how expensive it's going to be. I will show you bits of the house stuff as we go. It's going to be very, very slow. We have some damp to deal with, which is not exciting or glamorous, and we need to replace our bathroom because it's not great. And we've got some roof work to do, which again is not exciting. And then Gary needs to have a workshop installed in the garden, and then after that we probably won't do anything for quite a long time. So yeah, I'll show you some of the bathroom bits as we go. And then February, like I said, we're starting off in London for Charlie's Jiu-Jitsu. We've also got my grandmother's 95th birthday coming up in January, which is just incredible, and January and February even. I'm going away for a week, so I will obviously take you guys with me for that. And I've got this feeling it's going to be a good reading month. I've got my fingers crossed that I can have a good time. I'm going to obviously be doing the Forensic February and rolling for my reads, which is very exciting. I'm looking forward to that. So yeah, hopefully February will be a good month. I'm also having my hair cut because it just feels really long. I can always get it in a ponytail, which is always a sign for me that it's time for a chop. I don't think they're showing up too much on camera. I've got some major greys coming in here as well, which is fine. The colour does not bother me, it's the texture, because they like stick up like antennas, and that bugs me. But yeah, I'm gonna have my hair cut next couple of weeks time. You don't need to know this, you probably just want to go and get on with your day. If you made it to this point in the video, leave me the teacher emoji, because both of the main characters in this are teachers, as am I. So leave me a teacher emoji to let me know that you got to the end. Please subscribe if you would like more of this chaos, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks everyone, bye!